Now, we don't want to freak you out, Marvel fans, but there's some reports going around that my girl Wanda Maximoff might not just be the villain in the show WandaVision, but also in future Marvel movies to come. And I am praying that these reports are false, but let's break them down. It's Elisa from the Den of Nerds. My last video must not have been awful because they gave me another one. We have some crazy rumors to unpack today, but before we can get into that, make sure that you smash that like button. And also, I'd just like to remind you all that a lot of what's happening on this channel has to do with what's going on the live channel. So go check out Den of Nerds Live. They go through some crazy theories. Will Wanda Maximoff be the villain of WandaVision, or will they redeem her as they move forward with her character in the MCU? These are the types of questions that keep me up at night. Now, a lot of Marvel fans already know that Elizabeth Olsen was confirmed to be playing Wanda Maximoff in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. And a lot of us just assumed that Wanda would go on to play her normal heroic role, working alongside Doctor Strange or under him as sort of this mentor-student dynamic builds to defeat whatever greater evil that the movie presents us with. However, in a recent interview with Variety, the show's composers touched on how Wanda's character might actually take a much darker turn in WandaVision and in upcoming films. Trey Tobias from The Direct spoke about this interview, in which he writes, "In an interview with Variety, WandaVision composers Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez spoke about how they wrote music for the Scarlet Witch centered series. The duo revealed that they saw Wanda as a character with a lot of darkness in her, which they said will follow the Avengers for more movies to come. To quote them directly, they said, "She's got a lot of darkness in her, and her struggle is a major theme in the series and will continue to be in movies to come. She's a witch, and I wanted to make sure that her theme reflected that." She's got a lot of darkness in her? Her struggle will be a major theme in the series and movies to come? She's a witch?
I'm a Sokovian fortune teller.
Now, this caused a bit of an uproar with Marvel fans, especially the ones who already believed that Wanda's character was going to take this dark path, descending slowly into madness, as we've seen her character already taking a darker turn in these last 3 episodes. And there are some viewers who even believe that Wanda may actually become the leading villain of the show itself. I'd also like to add, going along with this theory, it seems just a little too convenient that the title of Doctor Strange 2 would be in the Multiverse of Madness, especially if it's referring to the madness that Wanda's character spirals down into in the House of M comic books, which we know largely inspired much of the WandaVision series. So is it possible that instead of seeing Doctor Strange and Wanda fight alongside one another, we actually get to see an epic showdown between the two as they use their powers of magic and sorcery to combat one another? And if so, can we all just admit that Kevin Feige has to be a Sith Lord in order to pull all this off and not let any of us in on it? Now, whether her character is given a chance at redemption within the series or within future movies, it still makes you think, and it goes to prove that a darker ending may still be on the table for WandaVision. Now, this is where the news stops and the speculation begins, because there are a couple rumors that have come out that are contradictory to this idea of Wanda taking on a villain role in the upcoming movies in the MCU. But in order to talk about how some of these rumors might affect Wanda's character moving forward, first we need to cover how Wanda's children will be affected by this switch. Now, there have been quite a few rumors going around and quite a bit of speculation coming from reliable sources that Wanda's children will go on to have a future outside of Westview moving forward in the MCU. Many believe that they will also go on to train under the sorcerers at Kamar Taj, which is the same place that Doctor Strange showed up to train under the Ancient One. And we already know there has been lots of speculation that we'll see Doctor Strange show up in WandaVision, which would make sense since we also know that Elizabeth Olsen's character will be showing up in Doctor Strange Strange too. Now, the reason why this would be so important is because if the children exist outside of Westview in future MCU projects, then there has to be a resolution to the end of WandaVision in which the twins are able to get out of the hex and outside of whatever is controlling it. There's also a lot of rumors going around that the last 3 episodes of WandaVision will be an hour in length each, meaning it would give the writers time to bring the storyline to an end that makes sense and would answer a lot of the fans' questions. Like, who is the big bad of this series?
Who are those people?
Now, if the rumors are true and Wanda's kids do end up going to Taj to train, that would mean that Wanda's character and the character of Doctor Strange have somewhat of a healthy relationship in which she trusts him to train her children. And I just don't see this happening if Wanda ends up being a villain. It just doesn't make sense to me why someone who has done everything to get these children and to make sure they're safe and to love and nurture them would just hand over her children to Doctor Strange if she was also fighting against him. What I see as a much more likely theory is that we see Wanda and Doctor Strange forming this mentor-mentee type relationship in which he is able to get Wanda out of the hex and teach her to control some of the magic and also to repair some of the damage she's done to the multiverse in the creation of Westview. Now, I don't think this is too crazy to think about because we've actually seen this repetitive pattern of mentor-mentee relationships happen throughout the most recent Avengers movies. We saw Captain America pass on his legacy to Sam Wilson, and we know that that's going to be a theme that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to explore throughout their series. We also saw Tony Stark train Peter Parker and get him ready to take over as the next Iron Man. And we also see Thor handing over this position of power to Valkyrie as he leaves her in charge of the new Asgard. So it would seem consistent with this mentor pattern that we see Kevin Feige setting up within the Avengers to create this younger, newer generation of Avengers as time goes on, to have Doctor Strange take on that role and relationship in Wanda's life. And that leaves this crazy opportunity for them also to set up Wanda as the next Sorceress Supreme, or even her son Wiccan as he learns to use and control his own powers as well. If this is true and this is what Marvel does moving forward, this would mean that the original statements made by the composers of WandaVision may have been talking about this darker tone in terms of her depression and trauma moving forward in the series as she has to deal with all of the pain and chaos she created and controlling Westview and the consequences that will come with that. Either way, I think Marvel is set to explore a darker side of Wanda as she moves forward and has to deal with her trauma. The question just becomes, will this lead to her character having an amazing redemption arc, or will it send her in an insane spiral of chaos and madness? But as always, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Wanda is being set up as this crazy powerful villain in the MCU, or do you think she's going to be set up as a hero who has a lot of trauma and darkness to work through moving forward? And do you think Doctor Strange is set to show up in WandaVision to take on this mentor role, or to take on the role of fighting and trying to defeat Wanda's power? No matter what you think, you're going to want to make sure you are subscribed to the channel to keep up with all the amazing nerdy content that goes out from it. Don't forget to sub to the live channel as well so that you can catch our morning streams where we dive even deeper into some of these theories and concepts. And as we love to say here on the Den of Nerds, I hope you have an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you all in the next video.